everybody, we got everyone here. We got Fleming and Anders and Cora and David. We got some great stuff. People talking about C and D on time series. Oh my gosh, so much good stuff. Good to see you here, Fleming and Anders and Cora. I've already said everyone. And Dylan, good to see you here, Dylan. Let's get it in the notes. Where are we at? There's all the class. We got so many timestamps today. Good stuff. Could you do one of the researchers at the bar and the patrons? Of course, the drinking and driving, you bet. Let me write that down here. We'll do that next. Stat 201, Chapter 10, drinking and driving. Thank you so much. Let's wake up Mubot right here. He might, he is awake. So let's ask, you can ask Mubot about randomness. 100 points Mubot in the chart there. You're welcome, Fleming. And let's see right here. Let me get the other question. BS 475. I can't write. 475. We are doing question 1, C and D. Going to try not to do the full thing, but do a little bit of it. So this is assignment. Assignment 5. Woo. Where's 320? Where's 320? 320 swing on by. Like Spider-Man, come on in. Let's do the work. Here we go. I think we're ready to go. Let's go check out the assignment. Okay, 3:55 is the timestamp on this. 3:55. Got some time series from the class. There's a bunch of regression right here that we're looking at. And we've got a whole bunch of models. We were doing some of this earlier. Got a little bit different of the data. Need to fix my data from earlier. We do not want the min. We want the max temperature on that day. And we're just going to call it temperature. And it's mad. Oh, because I don't have the comma. And so there we go. I think this has everything we need. Let's see the daily values. Check out the earlier video from today. Mubot talking about some randomness in the chat on how to get this table right here that is going to summarize everything. Also, if AICC values are negative, do we choose the lowest or closest zero? Lowest. Always lowest, David. Good question right there. More negative is better. The lower, the better. Negative, keep going down. AIC can go as low as negative infinity. That is when an r squared is equal to 1. AIC will equal to negative infinity. So you want to go towards negative infinity. Negative infinity is better. Good question, David. 100 points. Closer negative to negative infinity, the better it is. So good question. So, okay, let's see right here, C and D. We need to fit some models to this, I believe. So when we do this right here, we're going to use the time series linear model to this. You're welcome, David. Keep those questions coming in. You wouldn't do it right here. We already supplied you that code. So we need to fit, let's draw a fit, January. There's our January. We need which one? The electric. We don't want the daily. This is the summarized data we saw earlier. And then we're going to take this, we're going to pipe it into a model. Yep, I did it capitalized earlier. Time series linear model, and now we're going to do y tilde x. So we have demand tilde temperature. And the temperature is the max temperature. It'd be pretty interesting to do some different ones. So this stored it into the fit right here. So we're good to go on this. And now we need to store our scenarios right here. Really? Probably. Yeah, I guess that looks good. Just thinking about it. I like the code looking a little bit better like this. Just depends because you really have two scenarios. I think this should work. It likes it. Let me look. This list. Sure. I think that's good right there. Scenarios, cold day, warm day. Whoops, forgot today was today. I got to head out. Oh, no worries, no worries. Discard those comments. Yeah, no, awesome stuff working on that game there, Dylan. I'm trying to look over it, but good questions. So now what we have right here is we're going to use a forecast on the new data. I'm actually working a good bit of this assignment right here. Fun times. And so now when we do this right here, we're just going to simply pipe in the fit right here, and we just have the next day. So the new data equals to next day. So new data right there is the argument we're using, and we should have it. Might not do too much more, but that should do it. There's the forecast, and now we can auto plot it. So we auto plot this right here. Let's add on to this the auto plot. Can I remember it all? Auto plot, we're going to take our original data set, and if we do the data set, we're not doing we are doing the daily, right? Let me double check. I feel like we should be doing the daily right there. Like, is this not the, which one's which? I feel like we should be doing the daily auto plot. Nice right there, Fleming. Let me double check this. Let me double check. Use the model to forecast the electricity demand. Where did we make our model? It should be. We were doing this earlier today. Well, it doesn't say. It doesn't say do it with the daily. So no. Pretty sure. Yeah, don't do it with the daily. Don't do it with the daily. I've used the daily. I don't think the key has the daily. It's two different models. We'll take a look at it here in a second. It is the next day. Just thinking about this. Wait. That's the daily anyways. Let me see. We're going to look at this two ways. Wait. Did I overwrite it? When did we make this? So happens when you do it in two different parts. Jan, Vic, Alec. When did I make that? Losing my mind, Cora. What's up, Shreya? Good to see you here. Good job seeing everyone yesterday. Well, I have daily data right here, Cora, because if we were using the Victorian electricity, that's daily data right there. Because it's going to look like this if we did. We showed this earlier. But we have this right here. So I think we're using... It looks like it. And let's put demand in here. Show you what we're doing here. Demand. Don't like that. The autoplot should... We'll switch it up. Let's put on the forecast. Let's add to it the auto layer. I always forget to add auto layers. Okay, yeah, this is not good. This is not good. Okay, that's not the right series. That Jan Vic Alec is not the right series. We need to go here and let's grab ours. Jan Daily Alec. So we know you've done something wrong right there. What? What is going on? It's in 2014. Is this what you had too? Really? Nice. We'll figure out what's going on right here. Let me look at this. What is going on? There we go. You didn't change it to the auto plot. Oh, didn't I not change the auto plot? Right there. Hey Brian, I don't know if we're going on for Star Wars, but I'd love to do number 3 on the midterm for with the for loop. Yeah, I guess we could. Well, wait, but you got it right. Oh, did you? Because you did it by brute force, Cora. I was like, I know, right? Oh, thank you, Shreya. 100 points. Glad you enjoyed it right there. I think this has got it right here. The cold day versus the hot day. The auto plot is still just using the forecast right there. The January daily electric, and so we should be following through with this. Trying to think how much more we should do. Give prediction intervals for this, and here's the helo right here. So the high-low intervals right here is we should just be going, oh, and he did the explain. Yeah, of course. I like that. Your code too. So we should need, yeah, we're selecting the model right here. What? I always get the, let me grab this and put a new chunk in. Watch this. New chunk. Go right, oh wait. Yeah, he's just showing right there. There we go. There it is right there. Explain helo. So thank you, Spanbauer, very much for doing this one. Select. We want to go here to select. Take out the model. I think that should do it. There we go. And I think this is, he wrote this code that way it'll actually still pull up in your output when it creates. I got it right, but I know my coding right, and I drove myself crazy for a few days, so I'd have to see how it's done. Oh, awesome. I've got a few random ones created. How do you interpret that? Which one do you want interpreted right here? The intervals or the which ones? I'm trying to figure out how much to do right here. But what do you want interpreted right here? So what we're trying to do is we're trying to figure out the demand right here. And if on the next day, which would be February, if the next day is a hot day, which we're saying a hot day is a temperature of 35 degrees, then we would expect this, right? I wish it was reverse colors. the cold day on the hot graphic. So the cold day is this one down here, and these are the prediction intervals for, and so it kind of goes to 201 right here. Chapter 10, oh yeah, the elementary school will do it. Yeah, you got it, Vinny. Put it on here on the list. So we got the for loop and the, let me put those on here. We got PTA and or drinking driving. And we got BAS 320 after that. For loop midterm. And Stat Tool 1, Chapter 10, PTA. Cora, what are you thinking? Is this making sense? The colors are kind of backwards, right? And we might be able to do like a scale color manual. It's going to be more annoying to maybe fix this with the interval colors. You know what you could do? Watch this. Take this right here and put it right here. Still backwards, right? I think it's an alphabetical thing. Unless I don't have an, okay, cool. Let's say, so we need to go here and go this. No. Hot day. Boiling day. Oh, shoot. Darn it, we don't want to do that. Stop. Oh my gosh. Probably broke all the code. There we go. So what it's doing, sometimes messing with your code will figure it out. So it's doing a, you could call it boiling day, cold day. I had to figure out something alphabetically. I was thinking freezing or something like that. But now we have our boiling day and we have our cold day. And the boiling day is red because this does look cold right here. That kind of helps with the interpretation a little bit to think about it. But David, Cora, and other people in 475, what are you thinking as we make the predictions right here on the electricity demand usage? And so we're making predictions for the demand usage for this thing is Victoria or whatever, beautiful right there. So we just had to change the alphabetical ordering rather than figuring out the code with like the scale manual fill and all that. We just figured out, hey, let's just change it alphabetically because that's how I was creating it. And so we have the predictions right here on what we would expect for a boiling day and a cold day. And if we look at these prediction intervals, we're trying to figure out how much demand for electricity there would be. I don't really understand what the predictions mean. Oh, are you talking about these right here, Corey? Yes or no in the chat? Are you talking about, where's my predictions at? Oh, because it's off the screen. 2 seconds, let me rerun that code. Are you talking about these predictions right here, Cora? I'm going to store the predictions into predicted. And I'm going to go over here and just view it visually so you can see it. Where's my predicted? Here's predicted. Are you talking about these values right here, Cora? Are you trying to understand what these predictions mean, what these values mean? The boiling day is if on February 1st, 2021, 2012, I don't know what year it is, the temperature is 35 degrees Celsius, then we are 95% confident because we got the 2. Have I stored 2? It's got 2 upper, lower. Oh, 80% upper, 80% lower. I hate the way it does that. Oh, okay. So the 80%, I am 80% confident that the minimum electricity usage on the boiling day will be this. That's the lower end of a confidence interval. And I'm 80% confident it'll be as high as this. So we are 80% confident that the electricity usage on February 1st, given that the temperature is 35 degrees Celsius, will be contained in the interval right here. If it is a cold day, i.e. 15 degrees, I am 80% confident on February 1st, the electricity use. I love you, Sudden Link is amazing. So it's just confidence rules. It's for this specific day. So we're predicting like the next day going forward. If you look at the graphic right here, we are predicting the very next day in the series to say like, given this scenario right here, and you can see the confidence interval, it's hard because they overlap. But you're just predicting the next day. It might be easier to see this if I go down here and remove out one of those confidence intervals. It'll be a little bit easier to see. So I'm just going to go into here and remove out this extra confidence interval right here and then rerun the code. I wouldn't suggest doing this because it's not what you're turning in. But what you're looking at now when I plot this is you're going to look at just one day. So I can't remember which day I removed. This is actually the hot day. But these are the 80% confidence, and these are the values you'd get from the output. I'm 80% confident that the demand will be between this value and this value. I'm 95% confident the demand will be between this value and this value. So once again, this goes back to normal rules and more disconnect issues. I'm going to make some changes before 320, everybody. Yesterday and today, this week has just been really bad on disconnects, and I'm going to probably just change everything back. I've watched so many videos on fixing the issue. We didn't have any disconnects during first office hours. Almost like feels like Sunlink. Yeah, understand what you're seeing is important right here. Like I know, right? Oh, it seems working good. Good. No lag. I'll stop. You see, it's not a big deal if I don't make a video of it. Just saying. All right, let's go back to the main screen here. Good work. Thank you, Shreya. Someone said something really nice during the last stream. They said, no shade against Zoom. Not trying to bash Zoom. But they were like, I like this better than Zoom, even if it has a little bit of lag. And I was like, that's really nice of you. Even a little bit of lag. I'm going to probably bump it way back up to 60 frames per second. Because I made some changes, bunch of changes, and didn't seem to fix the issue. The next question right now is, that was good work on some 320. It is Stat 201, Chapter 10 on the drinking and driving, waiting outside a bar, I believe. So we're going to get the Chapter 10. Access denied. My Pearson says no. Chapter 10, waiting outside a bar question. Coming right up here. Drop more questions in the chat if you got them. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Let's throw out another 100 points. I want to have the perfect streaming experience. The perfect. I think that's the problem, is a lot of times we demand perfection of ourselves. Woo! I like the cat box right there, Fleming. More points. I love it so much better than Zoom. Aw. Yeah, I'm trying to get... I don't know. I got lucky. Like, who can say they teach class via YouTube? It's really a weird... Like, I like weird. Weird's good about me.
Weird.
Weird's all good. Who can say I teach a college class on YouTube? I am on YouTube. Teaching college. I mean, some people are on YouTube, but this is like full on... I don't know if there's any other classes that stream. Man, it's probably somewhere. Nicolas Cage, the TA, is TA. He is the... We should do that. It is weird. I like telling people I guess... Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, if you'd like to check it out, swing by. I got a really good idea. I don't think people watch these in-between sections. So, who would help me out with an April Fool's joke? Let's take 2 minutes here. Would anyone help me out with an April Fool's joke? And I might try to clear this with my department before I go and make this video. So I'm going to tell you what the April Fool's joke is. You'll be in on it. So if you don't want to hear it, be like, la, 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 la. So the April Fool's joke, and close your ears if you don't want to hear it, is I'm going to release a video, and it might only be Stat 1, it says. You'll be in on it. You'll help out with this? Okay. So, and I'm going to put it in the Discord maybe too for Discord people to help out. But the video is going to be called so the video is going to be named like Stat 201 Test 2 Answers TA Use Only. It's going to say like, we could refine the title. You can email me better title ideas. And then the video is going to be like a Zoom session. I'm going to record Zoom and I'm going to have up something that says like Test 2 Answers or something, Spring 2022. I might even put some stuff like correlation is causation. And so I'm going to upload this video. It's going to be like 50 minutes. It's going to have a screen cap of like exam 2 answer key or something like Spring 2022. And then with that right there, oh, that's such a cool emoji, right, Fleming? And then what's going to happen is I'm going to be doing it, and then I'm going to be like, hey, can someone turn down that music? Can someone turn down that music? Then you're going to hear ba-doom, 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 and it's going to rickroll. So I'm going to do a rickroll because I'm old, and that'll be the joke. It'll be like, it's like you click on the video, and it's a 50-minute video, so you think you're going to see like some answers, like test answers, and then as it starts, like as I'm about to like scroll down to the test, it goes to a rickroll and just cuts. And then it's like 45 minutes of a black screen, and YouTube gets mad at me and takes down our channel because I uploaded. So, but here's the thing, is you have to like post like, holy crap, like no joke, Brian posted the answers. You have to check this out. He's going to take it down soon. What we'd play off of is FOMO, fear of missing out. So, like people would probably like be more likely, class mascot would the cat in a box. So I don't know how that would work. And I want to double check my department before I upload a fake video of like test answers, but you know, like message everyone, be like, oh my God, like be like, no way, like put it in any group you're in and be like, Brian posted the test answers. What if a photo for Nicolas Cage of 45 minutes? I could do that. Oh, maybe YouTube wouldn't get mad then. I'll just post like a Nicolas Cage photo to be like, yeah. So that would be the joke, but then other people got to help out. Maybe I'll appear on the screen and be like, hey, send this April Fool's joke to someone. See if you can get them to watch the video too. I can't monetize the video. I got someone who did an anime, what is it called? Rickroll song, Never Gonna Give You Up. They gave me permission to use their song. I emailed them and they said I could use it. And then I'm not going to monetize it. So I won't get anything if a bunch of people watch it. So don't worry. It's not like I'm trying to make money off of it. But it'd be really cool if everyone watched it and like, I don't know. Good April Fool's joke, I think. Fun times. Let's go find that drinking and driving question. But yeah, I like having some fun. Like, you know, we can't be too serious all the time. Gotta do a fun April Fool's joke. Trying to find that drinking and driving. That too in like different dimensions. Nice. And then we're gonna do the for loop here in a second, Kayla. So stay tuned. For loop coming up after this. Where's that drinking and driving question? I think this is the drinking and driving. The questions change. Yep. I'll show you real quick. Here, I'll head over here. Drinking and driving question. All right, here we go. Drinking and driving question. Let's do this. Okay, so the reason this question's filled out is because this question goes through many iterations and it's very hard to find it. Every 8th person. Oh, Fleming. So every 8th person is what? If you see, if they're talking to every 8th person, that is definitely what? Someone say it in the chat and I'll give out some points. Magazine question. We can do magazine question. I'll put that on the list. You got it there, Vinny. Magazine question in the list. But every 8th person is definitely what? People put in the chat. Every 8th person. If you see 8th person, what is that? Magazine question. Systematic. Great job, because it's every person. That's a systematic right there. Good catch on that. Great job. My hair's just... I'll go get a haircut this weekend. I don't know. So this question is filled out because there's a billion versions and it's the only way I can find the answer. Or to see the question. What is the population of interest? The population is every person or thing we want to understand. So this magazine wants to understand people. So people are, not the magazine, sorry. They want to understand people who would visit a bar. This one is the bar version of it. It does have the magazine version. I'll show you right here. If you notice right here, the magazine reported, because it just won't generate sometimes for me without showing the answers. So with this right here, we've got the version. And look, we have every 7th person leaving the bar, just like Fleming's question. So maybe we're right on track with yours, Fleming. So great one to ask. The population of interest is adults who would visit a bar. We want to understand bar visiting adults. What is the parameter of interest? Define for me in the chat what the parameter of interest is. The best way to learn these things are to not just get the answer correct. You need to know a definition of the parameter of interest that you can just recite like this and then tell examples of. So what is a definition of the parameter of interest? Take a moment right here. Not quite those we have access. Good. That is the sample frame. Kayla, good answer. That's the sample frame. The sample frame are the people or things we can sample from. The parameter of interest is what we are trying to measure about the population, hence why it's called the population parameter. So the parameter of interest is what we want to understand about the population. It's like, no, Kayla, got 100 points again. Don't worry. Keep practice right here. So it will be people that think it's a problem, and that's what we want to understand about the population. We want to understand if they think drinking and driving is a problem, and that's what we want to understand about the population. Now, the sample frame, Kayla said it just a second ago, is the people or things we have access to. So it's not who we speak to, it's who we could speak to. So when we think about a sample frame, it's who are the people we could speak to? And we could speak to anyone leaving this bar. So this bar, when I said this bar, I meant the bar we are at. So anyone at that chosen bar is someone we could theoretically, exactly the ones we have access to. Now, it doesn't mean we sample them. Who is the sample? The sample is going to be in this example, every 7th person. So we have sampled every 7th person right here, and that is the sample. What sampling method was used? Oh, very obviously. Very obviously. Say it in the chat again. I'll give you a second. Every 7th person, we should just be like this. This is a random sampling method. Very obvious right here. Very obvious. Systematic. Boom, another 100 points. Systematic. Great job, Fleming and Kayla. Good practice both right there. Every nth, every kth, it's systematic right there. Is systematic random? Yes or no? Watch out. I'm trying to trick you. Is systematic... Oh, again, Randomly selected. Is systematic random? Yes or no? Great job, Shreya, right there. 2 seconds. Careful, careful, careful. Don't worry, don't worry. 100 points again. I'm just going crazy on the points. I've been using jump a whole lot lately. Systematic is considered a what kind of sampling method? 2 seconds. Here we go. Is systematic random? Is systematic random? These are good ones. It is good. 100 points there. We're just going crazy on the points. Yes, systematic is good. It is random. So it's random. Exactly. Systematic is considered random. You don't have to just do a simple random sample to be random. Systematic is going to be random. So systematic is random. Who was left out of the study? People who didn't go to this bar or whatever. People would not go to the bar. You gotta love some randomness right there. People who would not go to the bar are left out. What type of bias is evident? We're leaving people out who don't. So under coverage. So why would you remember I said under coverage? Now the response bias on this one, because I remember we did this one I think yesterday too. I don't know if I agree with response bias, but do remember I said under coverage. But the fact that under coverage appears with response bias, I would say under coverage, like if you are leaving out people who would not go to bars, then exactly. Yeah, it could be kind of, yeah, because it's a little bit weird because I wish they said they were understanding people and then you're pulling people to go to bars. So it's a little bit weird. What problems can you see? The undercoverage bias, we're not representing enough people. Delcy and Bar may think differently. And that kind of goes to the response bias. So they're kind of cluing in on the response bias where maybe they're going to respond differently, but that's undercoverage. What am I saying? Response bias is when the people are influenced by the question or the behavior of the researcher. Yeah, serious problem. It's like a loaded question. What's the question? Does it say, do you think drinking and driving is a serious problem? It's, I guess. I don't know. The response bias I'm a little bit wary on that one. I need to be convinced by my Pearson. But once again, this question changes every time you do it to things like did people say do the magazine one? Because I think now we have the magazine one generated. Yep. Well, here's the magazine. We're going to do the for loop right after this, but I already have the magazine one on the page. So let's do a new segment right here. We'll actually work through the magazine one. So let's check this out here. The magazine problem coming up next. Loaded questions are problems. Those are going to be response bias or create response bias. Vinny, let's do it. Thank you, Vinny. Let's hop into it. Here we go. Sometimes we do short or long segments between. You never know. Here we go with the next one with the magazine question. And the magazine wants to understand people. So people are what? People are the things we want to understand. So people is our what of interest. You can say this of interest. So people would be the what for the magazine because they want to understand people. It would be the population. Great job, Kayla, right there. All people are the population. Now we got to review terms. What is a parameter of interest? No, you got it right. Exactly. The parameter is the what that we want to what about the what. The parameter, try to remember the terms before looking at answers right here. The parameter is the what that we want to what about the what. The thing we want to understand about the population, right? Like, what are we measuring? Like, what do we want to truly know about the population? The only word that matters right here is parameter, because parameter is the thing we want to understand about the population. Population parameter is redundant, and of interest just means we want to understand it. So we want to understand their views on global warming, whether they think they're happening or not. It'd probably be the proportion of people. Yep. In this instance, it's the proportion because we want to understand what percent of people believe it's happening, not happening, and that is the parameter of interest, the thing we want to measure. So the parameter is what do you want to measure? You ever think about this in chemistry? If you are trying to like dissolve a substance, you might be trying to understand how long the substance takes to dissolve. I don't know what you do in chemistry, but that sounds about right. So that would be the parameter of interest. Does that make sense? The parameter is the thing you are measuring that you truly want to understand. So if you're in chemistry lab and you're dissolving something, you might be wanting to understand how long does it take for this to dissolve, and you're trying to understand the true length of time, like if you had all knowledge, which we don't have. So we want to understand for all people what proportion of them believe. We're going to take a sample here, though, and the sample is going to have a sample frame. The sample frame are the people we have access to. Now, it doesn't say, I know it's a little bit unclear, but watch out. We want to understand all people, and apparently this is a very big magazine with all power. We want to understand all people, and apparently we have access to talk to all people. It doesn't say anything about adults or anything. It just says we want to understand all people. We're selecting from people. So it's like, okay, we want to understand people and we have access to people. Apparently all people. A little bit could have been more clear in the question, I agree. What is the sample of the study? What number are you going to look for when you look for the sample? What number would you look for? What number would you look for when you look for the sample, which you can kind of see it on the screen? Oh my gosh. This question is choking me up, guys. It's a very sad question. What question would you... I might literally go get some water. What number would you look for when you look for the sample? The selected, great job right there, Shreya. The selected group right here is the amount in the sample. And next, what is the sampling method used? It does say random. So I don't think they specify. So it's not a cluster. They didn't do a group, like pull a whole group. They didn't go to the first. They didn't acknowledge a difference. They didn't do every Kate, and they didn't ask for volunteers. So it doesn't meet the criteria for any of those. It's not a cluster. They didn't take a whole group at once and do a census on it. They didn't take the first ones available. They didn't acknowledge a difference. They didn't take every Kate, and then they didn't get volunteers. Great job right there, Kayla. Excellent work. Is it random? Mubot loves randomness. Mubot, do you love some randomness? He'll talk to us all in the chat. Is it random? Yes, it is definitely random. It's random because it says it's random. Yep, great job right there, Vinny. Who was left out? It doesn't really say anybody was left out, so no one was left out as far as I can tell. What type of bias? Well, they just talked to people and they got a bunch of random people, so... what problems can you see? Well, we didn't mention any problems, so no, I didn't see any bias. Not the way the question was worded. No one was left out. So unless I went crazy, there we go. We've been on a streak. We haven't got one wrong in a long time. I don't know whatever happened to us. See, maybe if I get one wrong, the lag will go away. I shouldn't mention the lag, but maybe if I start getting questions wrong, the lag will go away. It's like either we have lag or Brian gets questions wrong, but we're getting this buildup of lag because I'm on a streak getting all those questions right. Let's do the next step. So I don't know. Maybe I'll start getting questions wrong again, and then we'll fix the lag issue. We only can have one problem at a time. It's the way it works. Let's talk about that for loop. Exam. I think this is randomly generally. Okay. So is a randomly quick question for 475 on 2E. Do we use the model with the best amount of Fourier terms or a different model? Let me look at that real quick. 2E. Not 2E. Generate a forecast for the next year of data. Plot these along with the actual data. Yeah, I would do it right there. I'd use the best. If you ever feel the graders not fair, let me know. And the graders are getting caught up. They're almost caught up. Trying to get them caught up. This better be like super hard. Oh, I don't. It all depends. When you see the answer, it's always like, what? So let me see right here. Oh, there we go. Midterm 1. Okay, here we go. Oh my gosh. 2 seconds. I actually had to like go through and solve everything. I can literally show you my work to solve it right here, and then we'll talk about it. She really sent us 50, 50, 50. Yes, that's stratified, Zach. Great answer right there. Zach, you are correct. That is stratified. So, Kayla, I'll show you my work, and then we'll talk through it, and we'll solve it by hand, or we'll solve it step by step. Okay. Here we go. So, I'm going to send out the grades to the rest of the sections tonight. One section had a tiny bit more time because I think they got it sent out later, but we try to be as fair as we can across all sections. A little bit of teacher variation sometimes, but we do try to be as fair as possible. So this is the for loop and how to solve it, and this was the actual work I did right here to solve it. I then put it in. Oh, you'll get to see the answer. I'll send out answers here in a moment, or like later. There, I changed the way it looked, and let me change this. There we go. Now it looks a little bit better. Just doing a little formatting. Okay. One of yours was so close to that. No. Okay, so let's look at this. You ready? This is the actual work I did to solve it. Like, this is the actual work. Does this make sense? Like, when I sat down to write the answer for everybody, this was the actual work I did. Here's what we have to do. The first thing I did was I what? Take a look. The first thing I did was I what? Which we needed right here. The first thing I did was what? It's a randomly generated exam. The first thing I did was what? The first thing I did was what? The very first thing I did was what? Did like no joke like A loops. The very first thing I did was what? Created the vector. And then what I did is I then stored into the vector what? So let's take a look at this and let's see what this did. I then stored into the vector the what, which you can confirm the answer here. I then stored the what into the vector. I then stored the what into the vector. So I then stored the what into the vector. Like, that is storing the what. I created the third element. Exactly. I stored into position 3 of vector y. That's what that reads. Position 3 of vector y. And I used position 2, and I took 1/2 of position 2, because that was position 2. 1/2 of position 2 plus position 1. Does that make sense? Does this make sense right here? I used 1/2 of position 2 plus position 1. So here's 1/2 of position 2 plus position 1. And then after I did that, I made the fourth element. And what you should see right here is we should see the 11.5, which is the fourth element, which is 1/2 of the third element. We just got that 7 a second ago. And then it's going to be 8, which is the second element. No, don't worry. It's a tough take home. I understand. Once you see the answer, you're like, oh no. But don't worry. Don't worry. But here's the thing where people usually get stuck. What do you notice right here I've created right here? What do you think this is? What is this right here? What is on the screen right here? What do you think I've created or I've worked towards? No, Kayla, well, you got it right, Kayla? You brute force solved it by hand? That's our skeleton. So I'm going to do the steps here rather than show the code. We'll show the code in a second again. What you want to do is you want to go here and go to 4. Well, I could have done an intermediary step. I could have done this where I go here and I go I, save into 3, and then this becomes I. That's I minus 1, and that's I minus 2. So this is an intermediary step I didn't do. You could test it before creating it. I used Excel. It's fine. Answer's an answer. It's what counts. I said that in class. I was like, if you get it, no, don't worry. And remember this for the take home for the final. An answer is an answer. It's not cheating to use Excel. You're allowed to use Excel. That's a resource you have. If you can solve it with Excel, then I thought maybe for a moment we should make it like the 500th element. I don't know, or 5,000th. I don't know. So you could check this at every moment right here by doing this to see if it's working. So we could go up to the 5th element. Great movie. And it's creating. Does this make sense right here? Like, now I've done an intermediary step where I've put in the placeholder. Now that I've officially created a skeleton, I can go here and go 4, open up my for loop, put my code inside of it, and then go variable is I, which is the placeholder, and then it needs to go from 3 to 50. And then after I run my for loop, I could go to the tail of Y last element, and there it is right there. And same element right there. Is this making sense? No worries, no worries. We want everything to be like relative to what we did in class. So these are tougher questions. No worries. It's tough. And hey, if you made a great grade, that's great. If you didn't, it's okay. These are tough questions. These are tough things. Well, it's easy when you see it. It's easy when you see it. Like I don't mean this like as a joke. When I was doing for loops, I had a hard time writing the following for loop. I had a hard time writing that for loop. Probably the first week, 2 weeks when I was learning for loops, I had a hard time just getting it to print the numbers 1 to 50, and I had to look up that code and be like, okay, the I goes here. This is the vector. It needs to print I, because I would do things like I would do things like that, and I'd be like, okay, that printed 1 to 50. Now that's not right though. That's not using the I placeholder as what changes inside the skeleton. So the terminology of skeleton, vector, and variable are very important right here. That you have your variable, your vector, and you have your skeleton should have the placeholder in it. Like the skeleton is the everything inside of here. Like skeleton would go inside of here. So the terminology is very important, and also the steps to make it are very important too. I'm sure someone could code this without doing the steps, but generally speaking, you want to create a code that could be turned into a skeleton. And then I've done that right there. Then I've done an intermediary step right here where I've done it with kind of the placeholder, but mechanically changing it. And even if you couldn't get the for loop to work, you could have actually manually changed it right here like this. And that's all the for loop is doing for us, is changing that manually for us. So, or we don't have to manually change it, it's automatically changing it. So good stuff right here, good practice, good code, and yeah, let's hop back here to the main screen. Kayla and Treya, thank you so much. Let me throw out another 100 points again. Oh no, don't be worried. It's just a lot of practice. Just ask him to show, yeah. It's too funny. Too funny. That's awesome. Well, that's 100 points for your husband right there. You don't get, just tell your husband 100 points. We've only got one more question. We got the PTA question, so drop those questions in the chat because we only have these stats 1 PTA questions, and then we're no more questions. No more questions. Drop another question in the chat if you got it, because we only have the PTA question left. Especially if you're doing 320, got a lot of 320 work coming up. So PTA question, might do 2 versions of it. PTA question is a great question. Okay. Let's go check out that PTA question. Okay, here we are with the PTA question, and it covers a lot of different sampling methods. A lot of good stuff, got some jokes in the chat. Now, this one's super easy for the start because it says every 10th student is contacted, and they randomize it by making them alphabetical, kind of randomized, talking about some Gini coefficient right there. Every 10th student, this is obviously systematic. If you see t in there, that is going to be systematic. So systematic is every kth observation, technically starting from a random starting point, and that would be systematic right there. So make sure to have these notes, put them on note cards, practice this, know the steps for systematic. Systematic is a random sampling method, which means bias would only occur if we didn't do it properly. Randomly select 10 students from each elementary school. Okay, I gotta ask, is this cluster or strata? Please in the chat, take a vote. We'll give some points up, but is this cluster or strata? Good time to review if you know it. We're going to randomly select 10 parents from each elementary school, send them a survey home, follow up with home visits that they don't answer. So you'll see the vote appear. Let's see what people say. Is this cluster or strata? And I don't joke lightly on this. I look at the results of the test, and it's almost 50-50 every semester. And I'm like, no! I'm like, I've spent like 30 minutes going over it. So if you're considering this, I should go put some hair gel in or something. If you're considering this, if you're considering if it's cluster or strata, oh, thank you. Thank you. Be still my heart. I'm going to end the poll right now. I don't know if one person voted or whatever. Oh, wait a minute. No! I just realized it's the wrong answer. Yeah, no, there'll be different versions of this, Vinny. We'll do it twice. So thank you. 1 out of 3 people. Okay. So how do we know the difference between cluster and strata? So just realize this is what people get wrong. 474, yeah. Of course. A KP, definitely. Take it in the summer. Yeah, we'll have some fun. It's good. I think summer's even better. I'm not even joking. Summer's like very focused, and we're there every day. So we're super focused. Show up every day. I actually think grades in summer are usually higher. No joke. Sorry to anyone during the semester, but it's super focused. I chose strata because it wasn't a census. Troy earning everyone 500 points right here because anytime we do some 2D, yeah, I could look at that. So many calls today. You bet, Cora. Let me put in the notes. Anytime we do a cluster, we must take a census. Anytime we do a cluster, we must do a census on the data. So what you notice right here, and let's look at the notes on this. In stratified, we start by acknowledging a difference. In this one, you are stratifying because you are saying there are differences among the elementary schools. So this is stratified because each elementary school is different. And then you're going to randomly sample within the elementary school, like we're doing right here, where we say in-state, out-of-state students have differences. Now, with clustering, it's all about taking a whole bunch at once, where things are randomly put into groups, i.e. clusters. You randomly select the clusters and then do a census. Troy, right there, remembering the keywords of the census performed, which means everyone gets data collected on them, which we're not doing here. This is a random sampling method, so bias would only result if we don't do it properly. Randomly select one of the grade levels and contact. Ooh, Troy, I'm not even going to show those answers. Troy, help us out with this one. Randomly select one of the grade levels and contact the parent of every student. So, Troy, what do you think? Or anyone, what do you think? I think Troy might notice some keywords right here. So, this is keywords we need to see every time. I got top chat on. What am I doing with my life? There's a cluster right there. Great job, Troy. There is a cluster right there. You are right. So this is definitely cluster. Sometimes I click and it jumps. Okay, good. This is cluster. Let me see. Under coverage. Well, it's definitely one of these. Under coverage because since parents I think it's this. Non-response, nope. Parents, no. It's going to be under coverage because they're not representative of all grade levels. I wish it said that you don't want to contact just one grade. That's not really representative. If the clusters are randomly assigned, it's good, but this is not representative probably. Send a survey home with every student, ask the parents to fill it out. So what are they attempting to do right here? Remember this word, it means to try to get data on everybody like we do on clusters, which that's just what you do to the clusters. It's not a true this. But if you were to get data on everybody, if you were to do that, you would have a what? So know this keyword, have it on your thing, getting data on everyone in the population, which they are attempting to do right here. They are attempting to do a what? We'll do one more version of this. They are attempting to do a what right here? They are attempting to do a what? This is an attempt at a what? What keyword do we need to know? Put it on your note cards if you don't know it when we say it right here. So they're sending a survey home with every student, kind of like we're talking about here, and it's not cluster. They are attempting to perform a what by talking to every student. Yes, exactly, Troy, right there. Yes, if everyone responds, we would have a census. So they are attempting a census. They are attempting a census, trying to get a census, and then you said it properly. If everyone responds, so that's going to be the problem here. Is going to be non-response. I feel like I misclicked something. Are we going to lose our streak? Woo! No streak loss. Another 100 points. 100 points for Brian. Let's do another version of this. I'm going to have to reclose the quiz and reopen it. Are any of the Pearson grades dropped? One for each section. One for each section. So kind of good right there. If you have a bad quiz on my Pearson, you get one dropped for each section. So, this is chapter 10. One dropped for each section. Great job, right? W right there. Get that win right there. Okay, so here's another one. Send a notice home to each parent and ask them to contact the PTA to record their opinions. So we're basically asking people to what their opinions. Think people with strong opinions are probably going to do it. People are like, I'm mad, so I'm going to talk to them. Or someone's going to be like, I don't care about this. What kind of bias are we going to have here if we send home a survey and we say, reach back out to us? Reach out to us if you have any questions. If you're thinking something, reach out to us. Voluntary. Great job, Claire. Great to see you, Claire. Claire, 100 points. We're just throwing crazy points today. So that is voluntary response bias and voluntary response. There we go. Ask the parents for their opinions when they visit the PTA booth. Now, I know you might be thinking that's voluntary, but you're just sitting back with your coffee and you're just like, it'd be really nice if I could just set up a booth and have people walk up to me. Sounds like this would be rather what? I'm just going to set up my booth. Got my coffee right here. Sounds like convenient right there. Sounds really convenient. So convenient is when we do something in such an easy way. I'm chasing those 200,000. We should set up a new level, Troy. What level are you at, Troy? We'll set up a new level for you if you want. We're always giving some people some new levels. We'll set that up between sessions, things right here if you want. Great job, Shrey, right there. More points. Crazy points. What kind of bias? The parents are going to let me see. Undercoverage bias, since only the parents involved with PTA. Yep. Send a survey home. So this is the census one we just did. Attempt at a census. Tell me if I misclick. Please tell me if I misclick. Oh, Troy, we could give you a new level. I think we have a spot right there for you. So non-response. We might have a new one. Randomly select one neighborhood. Troy, we're calling on Troy for this one, or anyone else. Randomly select one neighborhood and contact. No, wait, don't answer in the chat yet. Someone's already answered. Don't answer in the chat. Okay, is this stratified or is it cluster? Trying to trick you. Stratified or is it cluster? So, is it stratified or is it cluster? Take a moment. Careful, look for those keywords. Don't say it in the chat. See what people say. See if we learned. Have we learned? Last time it was 75% got it wrong. We're more wrong than right. Look for keywords. Like, no! And then I'll ask someone to explain it before we get the answer. Watch me get it wrong. I know what it is. So we've got some results. Who wants to explain what it is and why? So take a vote if you haven't, if this is cluster or stratified. Do realize usually at the test is 50-50, but do you know the keyword, or do you see a keyword that's like, oh, it's this? If you see a key phrase in here, you're like, and so you can reveal the key phrase right now if you see it. So that you get to the test and you read this, like, oh, it's definitely this. We're literally 50-50 right now. We're literally 50-50. What is the key phrase that puts us to... Oh, now we're more wrong than right. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, what is going on? Oh. Don't worry, it's practice. We're here for practice. Let's throw out a big 1,000 points. Troy, let's just break the point scale. I'm having some fun. Are you having some fun? If you're having fun, I just want you to put a yes or put an emoji in the chat if you're having some fun right here. This is cluster sampling because we're sampling every. Troy mentioned we're going to a neighborhood and the neighborhood is the cluster. We're not acknowledging differences. We are sampling everyone in a neighborhood. So we're going to that neighborhood and taking all awesome right there. Thank you, Vinny and Parker and Shreya right there, having some fun. Don't worry if you get it wrong. We're just here to have fun. I prefer people to answer. If no one answers, then I don't know if people are learning. But since we're sampling every student, this is a cluster. The neighborhood is the cluster. I love all the emojis, cowboy emojis in the chat. What kind of bias could result right here? Well, think about this. If you go to like Brentwood or another random neighborhood, that's probably not representative. So we're probably undercovering. Did I get one wrong? I bet I got one wrong. Oh, we didn't. Woo! I keep thinking I'm going to click something too quick. But really good stuff right here. Any other last questions on this? This is a great question to practice. It's a tougher one. It gives you a lot of different ones. It has different versions of stratified and clustering. Remember, clustering has the census on a cluster. So review your notes that the cluster always performs a census on the cluster. Thank you, Shreya, right there. Awesome work. More points in the chat. We're just having some fun. And stratified is when we acknowledge a difference and then sample according to those differences. So make sure you have these written down right here. Look for these key steps. Do we sample according to a difference and sample randomly within those strata? Or are we acknowledging a difference? Or excuse me, are we taking a whole cluster at once and doing a census on that cluster? Think about which of these applies most to it, and then make sure to use that terminology for it. It's tricky, I know. It's tricky. It's easy to like confuse them because they both deal with groups. I think one of the best, well, no, we'll do that. We'll do the 475. Let's do it. Let's stop over here. Let's do it. And 320, if you have questions, let me know. Just drop those questions in the chat. I'm going to head out. Shreya, great job. I'll see you in class. Let's do the next question. We've done a lot of work today. 465 Q2D. The weekend comes, I just like pass out. I just like fall over on the bed and just fall asleep. And then I wake up and it's the week. So let's talk a little bit about this. And might do it a little bit differently. 2 seconds, getting everything ready. Okay. Time series regression. Can we do some assignment 7 for this week? Of course, Parker. Is that 320, right? Bias question. Which Charles, which one? The bias question? Let me do those right here. Stat 201. Chapter 10. Bias question. I think it's the bias questions, right? And BAS 320. Assignment 7. What do you want to do on assignment 7? Let me know. Which thing? Which question? I'll put question ... Tell me which question, which thing you want to talk about, and we can go check that out here in just a moment. Let's go do some 475. I'm going to keep this on part 1E if we have time. 1E? We might be able to, or Cora, we can check it out tomorrow. Thank you, Cora. Let's go check this. Q2D. I'm losing my mind. Slowly. Aren't we all, though? Let's head over to the main screen. Here we go. Okay, so we're doing some time series right now, and we're going to be doing the Legendre-Box test. It's actually George Box who wrote about this, and this is a test to see if there's significant autocorrelation up to a certain lag. And so I think we're doing Q2E, and all the way down to Q2E. I should have it pulled up, but here we go. Oh, is it the forecasts? Which one? No, people wanted Q2D. Yeah. Use the Legendre-Box test to see for residual autocorrelation. Interpret the results for someone who doesn't run the code, doesn't understand it. So whenever we run a statistical test, we'll always get a what? Great job right there, Cora. And thank you for reminding me. It is D we're talking about. Whenever we run a statistical test, we will always get a what? Statistical test, so 320 should know this too. Statistical tests will always give us a what? So this is a statistical test. It's going to return us a what when we look at the result. I haven't run it yet, but haven't created it yet. And the book goes over it pretty well. I might pull up the book, but I can also probably write it too. It's going to give us a p-value, telling us if what we saw was likely by random chance or unlikely by random chance, whether it's statistically significant, i.e. unlikely by random chance, low p-value, or not statistically significant. Now, each one of those, the bias question, oh yeah, I'll do the bias one, you bet. I saw this Cora again. No, definitely we'll do it. Oh no, let's take a look. We'll take a look at it here. You got it, Charles. And so with this right here, this is a test to look at the residuals of the model. Does that make sense, Cora? Whenever we do a model in time series, let's go grab a model. I'm just going to do a different type question. I've done a lot of the assignment today, so we'll do something different. Let's go to OS Retail. And with the OS Retail model right here, we're going to select... what do we have? We have what's a really good one? I'm not using the... Is it US gas? Are we doing US gas for this one? Let me see if it's US gas. I think it is US gas, yeah. I don't want to use US gas then. Let's use... Can we use Victorian Electric? There we go. Okay. So this is the Victorian Electric data right here. And then let's go in here and let's make a model. So let's go model of it. Time series linear model. And let's take the demand. Now, we're not doing the exact same models we were doing earlier. We're going to predict from temperature. It's manned. It's not manned anymore. Let's say TSLM equals this. Good. It stored it. And from here, we need to take and look at the residuals. So probably, and I think this will work. Please work. Time series residuals. There's too many of these. It should be... The time series residuals. I might even cheat and look at the book. What is the TS residuals code again? Let me see here. Residuals. Because I actually want to look at them first. Residual diagnostics. Here it is. GGTS residuals. Here we go. Oops. There it is. That should do it. Cool. Okay. I can probably tell you the p-value of this afterwards. It's taking a moment to come up with this plot. I'm back as a final cumulative, kind of, with the knowledge. Oh my god, I forgot I did like a billion data points here. Woo! Oh my gosh. Oh, Cora, I can tell you the p-value of this test. Wow. Cora, I can tell you the p-value of this test. And 320, how do these residuals look? This is about as bad can get. And the reason it took so long is because there's so much data right here. This is not good at all. So Cora, this is not our model that we're doing, but we're going to talk about the test and how to perform it right here and what it means. And I know what the p-value of the test is going to be. This is not good. The data has maybe some sort of trend issue in it. There's significant autocorrelation lag at all these points. Do you know what the p-value will be, Cora? And I'll explain why I know that in a moment. There's major issues, and you'll actually see crossover 320 with the concept here in a second. For those who just are in 320 now, you're about to see crossover in how we interpret the results of this test. Kayla, 500 points. Boom. Kayla already knows that p-value because this is but this is an assumptions test because it's basically like we're testing. It's not the same exact residual test we do in 320. Good. You're on the right track right there. It's the same concept behind an assumptions test, where the assumption of the Legendre box test is that there is not significant autocorrelation at a certain lag. So the null hypothesis would be there is no autocorrelation, which that's the autocorrelation graph right there, up to a certain lag. So the p-value being low means we have evidence, a problem with autocorrelation, which I see it right here. Cora, does that make sense as I talk through this? Like, I can see the problem. And if you know how to look at the ACF, because we talked about that a lot in class, the ACF right here is the autocorrelation function showing us whether there is significant autocorrelation. And here is where we have it. Now, my graph looks crazy because I've got crazy autocorrelation. This is a somewhat decent residual plot. It looks mostly random. So this is a pretty, so you got this outlier. Got that extreme point, and those would be seen right here. So, we actually have to look at the histogram a little bit. I wish it just gave a QQ plot. But you see the extreme residuals right here. Those two are that, and then there. And you've got the low one right there over here. Mostly normal, some extreme points that vary, and then you have very little to no autocorrelation. So we could actually take this and also look at this model. This one probably is all right. Probably, maybe. So we've got the two models right here. We've got our good model and our bad model. So that's the good model, and there's the model. Let's say good model. Good model. And, the Google 2015. Let me go grab that data. He does that all the time. He goes and creates a data set and then uses it later. Google 2015. Is it not the... Well, we're never going to find that Google data set. Hey, what's up, Shazid? Awesome. Great to see you here. I'm trying to find that data set where he creates it. Creates it over here. There it is. And now we should have it. So we have Google stock not found. Where's Google stock from? Here it is. Man, it's the GAFA stock. A lot of work just to get our data in. So there's that, and there's the model. Okay, cool. Is it No, it's doing it. Why is it taking so long? There we go. For another 20-ish minutes. Ask the questions if you got them, though. Yep, about 6, for your guys' time. Exactly, about 23 minutes. So we have a good model right here, and let's store our bad model. Bad model. Okay, so there's the bad model. Now what we want to do is we want to do a test right here to see if there is... and go away. We want to see, and we want to augment this. Let's go to augment. There we go. Here's the fits right here. So the augment is giving us the residuals, giving us all the values. The augment just kind of gives you the table of the values. Now what we want to do is we want to go ahead and pipe this through and look to see if there is a problem. So what we're doing is we're piping all this information, we're bringing it to the next step right here, and we're asking, using the features, which is additional things we can add on right here with the Fable tools, We're going to go right here and do dot it here. We're taking this value right here. We're just taking this one. And then we're going to do the Legendre box test. So LJU. Yay, there it is right there. It does not get its own thing because it's going to call it. Degrees of freedom are going to be equal to, let's say, 16. And we will do a lag up to, how many, what kind of data is this? This is daily data. 60. Oh, wow. This is our good model? Wow. It's bad too? Huh. There was significant autocorrelation? Let me go to lag 20. Wow. Not running it there. I'll be. Oh, that's the bad model, of course. I was shocked. Shocking. Interesting. So the bad model came back with the low p-value, as I would have thought. And the good model, or we're doing a naive model. We shouldn't do the naive model. Where's my model being created on this? Where's the good model being created? Good model. I've lost my spot. Bad model. Cool. Where did I create the good model? Let's see. Where did I? Oh, here it is. Create it down here. Oh, because using the naive. Let's not use the naive. Let's create an even better model. The naive model we talked about in 320 a little bit. Let's use the S naive. And now let's look at the good model here. And it's saying it can't do it. I love you. It is unhappy. I might double check these coefficients. It's super mad at me. It's just going to say no today. Let's do the mean. Is it going to run now? Good model? Wow. Sam. You think it's below? Yeah, no, it was below. You're right. I did out of order. So what do these results mean? I'm actually shocked right here, Cora, that we're getting these results. What do these results mean? What do these results mean? Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. Oh, yeah, of course. Of course this is 0. Of course this is 0. That's what I'm gonna look at that real quick because I'm gonna see if he makes comments in the book. I don't usually have to, for this test, choose the degrees of freedom. I might actually remove that and let it choose a default value if it'll run with that. But that plot right there is bad. Let me see if he comments on the degrees of freedom. It does run without it. Let me see his comments on the degrees of freedom. Because I truthfully don't know the answer to that right off the bat. Why do we need to select that? Oh, it's over here in time series models. Where does he talk about the degrees of freedom? So the null hypothesis. Oh no, I'm being quiet. Yeah. See, he doesn't go into any statements on it. I would let it just choose the default, Cora. But I hate it when he does that. The lag is how many lag you're looking back. And he doesn't... I don't think he ever mentions why he chooses 5 degrees of freedom. It's not 5% significance. Because degrees of freedom are not like that. So I don't know why he wouldn't talk about that. Oh, is it low volume? Let me see. No, I think it might be you. Everyone, does my volume sound about normal right now? Do I sound at normal volume? I could turn it up more, but I think it might be your computer, Kayla. I think it might be. This is how I normally talk. Maybe I've made some changes I didn't even know about. That was normal. That's what I thought. I've got every volume thing like I normally have it. You sound number. Thank you, Parker. So I hate it when there's something I don't know. I know what degrees of freedom are for doing tests. I don't know why he would have let me look at the Legendre box. Let me look at what the documentation says. Degrees of freedom for fitting the model. Useful if X is a series of residuals. Just use the default value. Vector features. You might just, he sets it default equal to 0. So the way the test works, so here's the important thing to know. When you run this test right here, you're looking to see if there is what in the residuals. You're looking to see if there's what in the residuals. The null hypothesis is that the residuals are pretty much random independent. Thank you, Charles. So the null hypothesis is that the residuals are random independent. If this test comes back like it did here, that means there's evidence of correlation in the residuals, which is very clear to see right here. Does that make sense? Like when I see this right here, when it comes back statistically significant, is this good or bad? Is this good or bad that my test right there came back statistically significant? Like for this is my final model, is this good or bad? So if I see this is my final model, is this good or bad? This would be very, very what? For the roll quotient of third person in a line, it'd be bad, correct. That is going to be probably a convenience right there. Sounds like convenience to me because they're talking to everyone in the line. Those are the easiest people to get to. Good question right there. Be convenience. Yep, good questions. 100 points, good question. This would be very bad, and that's what we need to communicate to someone is that the variation, there's leftover variation in the residuals as seen in the autocorrelation plot, and the test, the Legendre box test right here comes back with a p-value of 0, saying to us that we didn't capture it all. The residuals are not random independent, and that's not good. So in truth, this is just like a 320 test because all you're looking for here is do we pass the assumptions that the independent residuals exist? And they don't. Not good. Let's head back. Here we go. It's not that it's a good question there, Corey. It's not that it's less than 0.05. It's that we can continue to believe that the residuals are random independent. So it's not that we're not saying it's that we actually believe there's really no correlation in the residuals. Like that'd be the best thing to say if the p-value is higher than 0.05. What up, Carter? Then you would say, I can believe that the residuals are random independent because remember that's the null hypothesis and thus you would not reject it. So the null hypothesis being that the residuals are random independent, then there's really no correlation. It's not that they're like below 0.05 then. The 0.05 is the point at which we would reject the idea that they're not independent and say we have evidence that they're not independent. Does that make sense, Cora? So we are trying to see, so what is the ideal p-value that we're looking for? Just above 0.05. We don't want to reject the null in that instance. So the higher the p-value, the better, but as long as it's above 0.05, as soon as it's below 0.05, it's not good. Our residuals have problems. Our residuals are not independent. There's evidence of non-independence. It's the 320 concept of violating an assumption. So you want the p-value for your assumptions test to be high. That's usually counterintuitive to people because they're like, I like low p-values. And it's like, not here. Not when we're testing assumptions. Hey, what's up, Alexander? Great to see you here. We're doing some more work. We're going to hop into the next question here. Next question on the list is the bias question. You bet. Oh, no. We got it. I got it. I got the list of questions. Take it out. List of questions by me. It's right. It's right there. Bias question. I got a list. You got it. Thank you so much, Charles. Let's go grab that question. Gonna get the bias question. Thank you for waiting patiently. I'm very appreciative. I'll bring the notes over here to the other screen. The bias question. Don't be biased. Let's see if we are. Okay, we're taking the timestamp right here. It is 1:16:20. 1:16:20. So with the bias question right here, you have to think, how are these questions pushing you to answer a certain way? Should companies that promote teen smoking be liable to help to pay for cost of cancer institutions? Do you want to say yes or no to this? Like, should companies that promote smoking with Joe Camel or vaping and strawberry cigarettes, I don't know what kids are into these days, should they have to pay for cancer institutions? Should they? What do you like? You know, they're out there just promoting smoking to everybody, kids and everybody. They're like, hey, smoke. It's cool. It's not cool. Don't smoke. I mean, if you want, you're an adult. If you want, I don't know. Smoking age is like 21 right now, so smoke if it's legal and you want to. But Brian says no. Brian thinks smoking's not cool. Cool people don't smoke. I'm cool. So what is this question pushing you towards? should the companies that are doing all this promotion. Well, the first thing I like to identify with these is what direction is it pushing you towards? So the first thing I like to identify is it pushing you towards yes or no? So the first thing to identify is it pushing you towards yes or no? Like, just think about that for first. Like, it's pushing you towards yes. Great job, Charles, right there. 100 points. It's pushing you towards yes. So now we've narrowed it down to this one right here, or this one. We've narrowed it down to 2 answers. We got a 50-50 shot, right? So now let's look at the better question. A better question would be, should companies be responsible to help pay for the cost of cancer institutes? That sounds better. A better question should be, should companies that promote teen smoking be responsible for their actions? All you want to know, the question is revolving around, should companies pay for cancer institutes? The whole, like, if they're promoting teen smoking, should they do this? Well, is that what you want to understand? Like, views of how companies promote teen smoking, you just want to know, should companies have to pay for cancer institutes? That's what you're asking. That's the end of your question. Like, should companies have to pay for this? So always identify first the way the question is biasing you towards, and that'll help eliminate some answers. So given that 18-year-olds are old enough to be in the military, get married, own a dog, own a house, have a kid, do you think we should set the drink? Is it fair? Is it fair to set the drinking age to 21? Is that biased towards yes or no? So once again, given that someone is old enough at 18 to join the military, own a house, have a kid, own a car, is it fair that the drinking age is 21? Is that biasing you towards yes or no? I added some extra parts to it. Is that biasing you towards yes or no? Is that fair that the drinking age is 21? What way is that biasing you towards? Is that fair that the drinking age is 21? Is that fair? Is it fair that the drinking age is 21 and you can be in the military at 18? You can drive a car. You can own a house. You can have a kid. Is that fair? It's biased towards no. This is biased towards no. So we've narrowed it down to 2 answers right here. So we're down to just 2 answers to pick between. And then just think of a good question. Should the drinking age be 21? Or should it be lowered? That's all we need to ask people. We shouldn't give them a preamble to the question that would put response bias into the question. We should just say, should the drinking age be 21? Do you think the drinking age should be lowered from 21? That sounds good. This has the preamble still. Check the answer. We're good. We'll do another version of this, but always think about, is it biasing you towards yes or no? That'll eliminate it down to 2 answers usually. And then think about, and be careful because it might try to trick you. My issue is, since you're asking all the companies, I fail to see how it relates. To me, that's not fair. I'm pushing me to say no because not all companies have an equal relationship. Oh, well, but no. Well, we're not. So I think, so Charles, good answers right here. We're not asking you, like what you think. I know it's a bit weird. That's probably not one of my favorite versions of that question, but it's like, I wish they said, like, we want to research views on helping with cancer research, or cancer institutions. So it should maybe explicitly say what they want to understand. But no, that's a good critique. Let me throw some more points. Good critique. I really like the way we write test questions. Sometimes my Pearson question can be a little bit odd. So once again, should companies that pollute the environment be compelled to pay the cost of cleanup? What do you want to say this? Yes or no? Should companies that pollute be required to pay the cost of cleanup? Should companies that pollute be required to pay the cost of cleanup? I'm going to send the announcement to the class real quick. Class in 20 minutes. Getting their announcement ready to go right here. Oh. Should companies that pollute the environment, looting and polluting is not the way. That's what I always say. My friend Captain Planet used to tell me that. Let me send the announcement here real quick. Sending it to the class. Class in 20 minutes. See you soon. Click here. And I would say people in the chat are probably answering yes. That this is biased towards yes. Thank you, Charles. If they survey every person in line, what is the sample frame? Well, who do they have access to? Good question. What would be the sample frame if they survey everyone in the line? Who would they have access to? Who would they possibly be able to speak to? Good question right there. So this is biased towards yes, and we should just ask, should companies? No. We should ask, should companies be responsible for cleaning up the environment? Good stuff. Given that a 16-year-old is old enough to drive, is it fair to set the voting age to 18? Well, doesn't sound fair to me. I think you're right. I think you're right there. And do check out, we did, I think, the question earlier, the roller coaster question. Amusement park was at the start of last office hours. We did a version of it. So check that out. Roller coaster question at the start right there. So this one is going to be biased towards no, that's not fair. Do you think the voting age should be lowered from 18? I think, please don't change my answers. That should be right there, I think. Yay! We're on a streak. We haven't got one wrong in a long time now. I'm jinxing us. No! Okay, do we have anything more? My issue is the complete non-bias of this question implies that all companies share an equal responsibility with pollution. Yeah, I don't... These questions right here, it's like, it should have a thing that says, like, we want to investigate the views of, like, at what age people can vote. Like, you have been tasked with understanding the views of at what age. This one's probably a better example of like a response bias question, but it should say you're with a polling agency where they have composed questions to understand the views of what should be the legal age of voting. Do you see any response bias in this question that surveyors are asking people? And right here, or it should say you work for an environmental agency that wants to understand if companies should share a social responsibility for paying cleanup costs of the environment. And so, but even saying this right here, should companies that pollute, is basically saying companies pollute. Companies do pollute. I'll just put that hot take out there. But you're saying companies pollute in the idea of like cleanup. So you should just ask, should companies share a responsibility for cleaning up the environment? I just don't know what the sample frame and the population are. And the question is the sample frame people in the line, the population is everyone at the park. Sounds to me like they want to understand everyone at the park, and sounds to me like they might only have access to people in the line. Now, remember, the population is every person or thing we want to understand, and the sample frame is everyone we have access to talk to. Like, who could we theoretically talk to? Good questions. Yeah, so we try on the test. Good questions right there, Charles. On the test, we try to make it as very little subjectivity as possible. And I think that's got it. We did a lot of... so we will probably do, I think Parker, was it Parker? Parker, you've been here the whole time, right? Parker, did you say which 320 thing you wanted to do? There was the, let's do some 320, but I never saw which thing. So we will probably, because we got 15 minutes till class, and we got like 4 more minutes here, we might end, and then we can definitely do it tomorrow. In class, I'm going to say, hey, everybody, swing by tomorrow. We need to start some 320 assignment, multiple regression. Because we don't really have enough time to jump into it, and I don't know which one to do. So let me know which ones you're working on. But I want to say a great job. We've done a lot of work during these office hours. Question 3. Let me take a quick look at question 3. Quick look. I'm going to give some quick advice. We're about to take a very quick look here at question 3. Very quick. Where'd my notes go? Where'd my thing go? Okay. I'm losing... Where'd I go? I can't find the class. Let's see. Question 3. Quick advice. Swing by... I'm sorry, Tarek, that we didn't get to this because we only got 13 minutes before class right now. This is assignment number 7, multiple regression part 1. Let's take a look. Data file. Here we go. Getting everything loaded up. And okay, question 3. Let's take a look. No worries. Can you take a look at the question I just asked? So make sure the sample frame is going to be the people we have access to, and then the population is going to be everyone we are interested in understanding. So the sample frame is everyone we have access to, and then the population is everyone we want to understand. Good questions. Sample frame is everyone we have access to, and the population is everyone we want to understand. Let's go take a look. Question number 3 is it not listed. No. Which one are you working on? I don't see a question 3. Wait, question 2. Am I on the right one right here? You're welcome. Parker, are you talking about which one, Parker? Are the numbers properly written? I don't see a question 3. Oh, number 2. No worries, no worries. I was really confused. I was like, where's the question 3? Let's take a quick look. You ready? Here we go. Speed run time. Okay, use data frame stocks. The first column is the closing price of Alcoa, while the remaining columns are the closing price of other stock and commodities from the prior 2 days. If we could use the information in the market today to predict the prices of Alcoa 2 days from now, we would make a killing. That'd be awesome. Fit a model predicting AA from all of the other variables using the twiddle dot shortcut. So here's the thing. We need to know how to make a linear model right here. Linear models are y tilde x. No worries, Parker. 100 points, Parker. No worries. So we're just going to show how to make this linear model right here. In the linear model, we need the stocks data set. Data stocks. Is it EX? No, let me find out. Well, we do have the EXs. Use data from stocks. Should exist. Oh, it does. That's weird. And then we're predicting AA from all the other variables. Data equals stocks. And here's our model. And now we can make a summary. And so when you look at this right here, this is a very, very full model with a lot of variables. But Parker, I want to ask you a simple question. Are you ready? Does the model look any good? And this is what's super cool with what we just practiced. Oops. Check regression. How do the residuals look? And actually, I'm kind of shocked. Do the residuals look good or bad? How do the residuals look right here? So we're looking at the first plot. Don't look at that. And the third plot. Does anyone want to chime in on the residuals? This will be our last thing right here. So if you look, it's very similar to what we've been doing. You're like, wait, what was what we were done? Not bad, better than expected. 100 points, I agree. The plots actually look pretty good, and a lot of the p-values are decent. Equal spread passes, normality passes, and this is exactly what Cora was doing a second ago. Now, there's lots of p-values for the linearity of each x variable, and there's not enough duplicates or replicates. It calls it duplicates, replicates, different terminologies. Pretty good, Alexander, you're right. So tell me this. Notice the code, and this is where we'll end. Does the code for multiple regression look much different than the code for simple regression? Does it look basically the same, or does it look super duper different? Like, what in the world are you doing, Brian? I've never seen this. Y tilde x comma data equals. Summary, check regression. Does this look very much the same? It's what we're going to start up today. So does that look pretty much the same? Oh, and then we want to do extra equal true. Oh, sure. Why not? Extra equal true. Show me the plots. Show me the plots. Show me all the plots. Okay, cool. Basically the same. So that's going to be our goal today. We'll be back here. Swing back tomorrow. Alexander, Parker, jump in. We'll work some of this. Let me know which ones you want to do. But if you notice, the code looks basically the same. The twiddle dot stands for all x's. Dot is every single x. So this is y with all the x's. And that's what we made, a y with model with all the x's. Until then, you're welcome, Parker. Thank you for asking. Thank you for staying the whole time. Drop more questions in. We'll do them tomorrow. Until then, I'll see everyone in just like 9 or 8 minutes. Bye for now. Great job.